Since November 1st, the Pittsburgh Penguins are 1-10-2 when Sidney Crosby doesn't score a point. I am Dan Kingerski on the Pittsburgh Hockey Now YouTube channel. Welcome to the fabulous accommodations here in Anaheim, California. My $85 a night hotel, or actually motel, because I don't waste your money, your subscriptions on anything lavish for myself. That is for sure. So the Penguins lose 5-1 to the Anaheim Ducks at the Honda Center, and it was kind of a tweener locker room. There was anger. Alex Nedeljkovic was just kind of like gritting his teeth. Erik Karlsson was kind of like, we got goalied. He's like, we weren't good enough. But he also put a good chunk of that on Anaheim goalie John Gibson. You may have heard he's from Whitehall. Once or twice, anyway. I thought Gibson was very beatable in the first 10 minutes of the first period. In fact, for most of the first period, I thought he was very beatable. A lot of pucks dribbled behind him, beside him. Rebounds were right there. But the Penguins just couldn't get their stick on that bouncing puck in the good areas. That's in part because Anaheim won the crease battle. The Anaheim defensemen certainly aren't going to light the world on fire, Radko Gudas and Brian Dumoulin and the like. But they won the crease battle, and when those bouncing pucks hit Gibson and were right there, an Anaheim stick or an Anaheim body was on a Penguins net front player to prevent the poke in, the tap in, the shot, whatever it might be. There were just a couple of really good saves he made then as the Penguins kind of ratcheted up the pressure in the second and third periods. Gibson's save on Erik Karlsson really stands out. Late in the second period, 2-on-1, perfect saucer pass. Karlsson tickets the puck right for inside the near post. Gibson does the splits and makes the save. And I think the Penguins knew at that point, despite the fact the game was 2-1, that it was not going to be their night. There was just a funky vibe. And I'm looking at a lot of the comments, we posted the locker room videos, and I'm looking on Twitter and such, and I see a lot of the typical tropes. Oh, this player, that player. It always kind of goes to the same, the star players or Mike Sullivan, etc. I'll tell you straight up, and I think you and I have had enough conversations after games and in the live chats that I'm a P.O. Joseph guy. I'm an Owen Pickering guy. I think these guys should be in the lineup on the regular. I don't think you're going to see one or both of them in the lineup when the Penguins face Seattle on Saturday, an afternoon game. Just gut feeling from what it was a brutal night for that pairing. And I don't mean just kind of rough. I mean, it was absolutely brutal for Joseph and Pickering. Joseph gets walked at the blue line late in the first period for the second goal. Other mistakes as well. He wasn't tough. He played easily his worst game of the season on what day is today? Would have been Thursday night into Friday morning. Easily P.O.'s worst game. Might have been Pickering's worst game of the season too. Just they were on the struggle bus from the get-go. And the funny thing is, Erik Karlsson actually was flying. Karlsson was really good on Thursday. So when you kind of balance everything out, I thought many of the Penguins played well enough to win. Ricard Raquel said, well, in the neutral zone, we gave up too many entries and we were disconnected, was Ricard Raquel's word. That's probably the best way to put it, because some of the team had their good games. Some of the team did not have a very good game. Sidney Crosby held without a shot, not just without a point Thursday, held without a shot. And he was out of sorts, I think, from the beginning, too. There was just The problem now, here's the thing. The Penguins had a golden opportunity on Thursday to get back in the playoff race. This road trip will define them. They win Thursday, they're 2 points back of Ottawa and Columbus and these teams at the second wildcard level. All they had to do was beat a well below 500 team that they've stomped for several years running. And instead they got stomped. And if there's not a bigger microcosm of the Pittsburgh Penguins season, I don't know what it would be. So they lose 5-1. Practice on Friday is at Anaheim's practice facility, kind of well out of town, almost in Irvine, which meant nothing to me until yesterday when I had to find it on the map. It's going to be interesting. I suspect you're going to see some guys draw back into the lineup. I suspect you're going to see a terse Mike Sullivan putting the boots to some boys. I don't think there's any other way. I thought the win against Los Angeles might have dulled them a little bit. It might have given them a false sense of hope or security and taken away some of the urgency. It was easily their worst game of the trip. Now they're 2-2 on this 7-game trip. They have to pick up 11 points on the trip, but they can't now. The best they can do is 10 points. So they have to run the table. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Penguins must run the table to get back in the playoff race. Otherwise, I think otherwise Kyle Dubas is going to slam the door and begin making those moves that he's been working very hard to make. Let's address a couple other things here. I know Alex Nedeljkovic was getting some hate. None of the goals were soft on Thursday. Maybe he could have had the second goal. I think he felt like he could have made a save there, but I mean, okay. He made all the saves he should make. He gave the Penguins a chance to win. So the goalie did his job. Could he have done it better? Yes, but he did the job. I'm going to veer off the game here for a quick second. I want to just bring this up. Yes, I know a lot of you want to see Joel Blomqvist in net because he's the young guy. He's the fresh-faced kid. He's the shiny new toy. Let's see him play. Pump the brakes a little bit. First of all, you don't have to bash Alex Nedeljkovic to advocate for Joel Blomqvist playing, okay? Like, can we get that out of the way? Just because you want to see the other guy play doesn't mean the other guy sucks. Alex Nedeljkovic is what he is, but I thought the social media hate was just, oh no, here we go. Now Nedeljkovic is going to become the GOAT, and I don't mean the greatest of all time. Now he's going to be the guy that everyone has to hate because they want to see Blomqvist. That would be stupid. You're going to see a lot of Nedeljkovic down the stretch because there is a split here. You have what Kyle Dubas is doing on one side, getting younger, building for the future. And on the other side, you've got the team. Mike Sullivan, Sidney Crosby, the players. They're fighting for the playoffs. That's their goal. And if they stop doing that, they're dead in the water. Like a shark stops swimming, it sinks. Well, if they stop fighting for the playoffs, they sink too. And that's not going to happen. So Mike Sullivan is going to go with the hot hand. Alex Nedeljkovic was clearly the hot hand going into the game Thursday. Period. Joel Blomqvist probably plays against Seattle on Saturday. And depending how he does, maybe he gets the call a few days later in San Jose. Maybe he doesn't, play as well and they go back to Nedeljkovic. It's going to be a play it by ear thing. Don't get ahead of yourselves and think somehow they're dismissing or disrespecting Blomqvist or Sullivan won't play young players. Blomqvist will indeed play. There's no rush. There's no rush to get him into a bunch of games because he's under control for several years. They've got time.